Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 25th, 2026. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hopefully, it was a good day for you. Hopefully, things went well for you. As for mine, it had its low points, but we were doing the best we can. I'll say that. It was an overall good day. Starting off at the top, because I'd say that was maybe the worst part of the day, actually, at least in the mental sense. Um, I just woke up and I just was very upset. Kind of had a bit of like a mental break, if you will. Just once again assessing my situation, and getting a little bit down to the dumps in it. I will say a thing that I really hate that I'm doing. Maybe this is a little bit of a confession corner. I'm in the booth with y'all. One of my bad pastimes, especially if I'm sick, lately with just everything with the medical stuff, I start doing this thing where I will search and search and search and search. And like now that search is very much trying to give you this Gemini or whatever, whether you're using it like an AI thing or what have you to like compile your information, get your stuff. You're essentially trying to like talk to it, like the search engine, if you will, if you're me in this situation, and you're like just just running a list of your situation, your symptoms, what have you, and you're trying to narrow things down. Essentially, you're trying to play doctor, if you will, and you're hoping that this I keep having to call it a search engine because it's not a person, it's not an actual doctor, it's not anything. It's a compiling of like information and searching and and I just go, man, now I just feel more stressed, actually. Like, there are, like, glimpses of moments where I feel like, oh, I'm figuring it out. Like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But it's like, this is not going anywhere. And, like, not to mention, I still have to go to the doctor. I still have to talk to the doctor. And it's still going to kind of, boil out to what it's going to boil out. And I'm going to trust the doctor over this app algorithm bullshit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I know I'm just wasting time. I'm wasting energy. Doing that. But I don't know. It was just one of those things where I just had a moment where I caved, which really sucked. And I've been, hitting the well, going back to it, throughout the day, which I just need to stop doing. But, trying to stick to the plan, whatever that is, ever nebulous. But yeah, I started the day off a bit upset, a bit frustrated. But that being said, the show must go on, life's a stage, you better work it, bitch. I don't know. All I know is I had to go to work. So I got myself together and go to work. I did. It was a frustrating day in the sense of there was like a decent amount of buggies to start. And I'm like, all right, got a handful of buggies. Okay, awesome. Let's go. And I immediately realized they haven't changed the crusher yet. But there was a bit of a silver lining in the fact that there was a good amount of room. So I was like, all right, we should be able to like work it through most of the day, question mark. I really hope Rumpke gets here. Got past my first break. They hadn't showed up. Got to right around my second break is when they did. And I was like, all right, cool, awesome. So I'm going to go to lunch and get back at it. And then when I get back from my lunch break, I do like very little. Essentially, before even my replacement comes in, they say, hey, we want you to go upstairs because we're slammed, we're busy, and we need you to do putbacks. And I'm like, man, there's enough work down here. Like, even though I've been, pushing away at it, like I could just be down here working. Like, what is the point of this? But I know I can't really fight it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm going to go upstairs and get after it. So I spent about an hour doing putbacks. I was, being diligent, doing it the right way. And I do that and I go on my last break and I come back and I'm like, I'm just not doing putbacks. So I go back to my area and lo and behold, my counterpart was pretty much just wrapping up. Like there was like 2 buggies left, and I'm like, I'll just push the button for you, whatever. He leaves me the last buggy, and I think he goes on his break or whatever. So I do that, and then I just get gifted with another buggy. Then I get gifted like with another 2, and I'm like, all right, cool, maybe. And essentially I'm just able to float that for the rest of the day. I think I take like a 5-minute break outside, get a little air, come back. There's another buggy waiting for me. Awesome. We ride out into the sunset with that. Overall work was fine. We do go to the gym after work. I will say though, I had a sad, interesting, insightful, I don't know how you want to word it, but definitely, a bummer up top. I was talking to my coworker as I was dropping them off, and they were telling me, they have their own slew of medical issues and stuff that they're going through. And they were telling me they're paying $600 for an injection, I think related to their cholesterol or something like that. And I'm like, $600 like one time? They're like, no, like this is something I have to take. I think they might have said like weekly, or like they have to take it like once a month or something to that effect. And I'm like, whoa, either one of those, 600 a pop, that's crazy. Like that. And I'm like, for how long? And they're like, and this is like a little bit of a language thing here, but like they're essentially saying like forever. And I was like, forever? Like that? How can you afford that? How can the average household support that kind of financial burden that is now being foisted upon them? Like that's crazy, but you have to do it. It's your health. Like this is a parent, this is, an integral person of the family. They can't just be like, fuck it. I'm just gonna drag on. Like, no, you need to get as well. You need to be as well as you can. You need to be as healthy as you can. And like, we're just having this kind of quick conversation, before they kind of get back to, watching some reels or whatever. And I'm driving and I'm just thinking, damn, this shit is crazy. I don't know. Maybe this whole, 30 something shit is hitting me just like way too hard, way too fast. But yeah, man, it sucks. Like this is the kind of shit I remember my parents having to go through when they were older, older. So it sucks to be dealing with the shit in your 30s. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's see. Post that, we do get to the gym. The gym session was okay. It's been busy. I will say lately, especially over the past like 2 days or so, but I think this has kind of been an ongoing thing. Maybe I'm just noticing it more. I don't know if it's worse. It's hard to tell. But my pain level has just been up at the gym. Like by the time I go through my whole day, like at the top of the day, the pain's not too bad. I have usually maybe even like 20, 30 minutes where I feel like I'm normal. And that's a little surreal. But pain starts at some point early on in the day. As I work, it progresses. As I get to the gym, it's usually at its peak and I'm trying to do shit. And any kind of just like, certain movements will just really trigger it, really make it worse. And there's kind of nothing I can do. I want to work out. So, I kind of noticed by the end of my cardio, I'm like, I'm almost nauseous. Like that's not good. That's not what you want. And, I get done with everything. I wrap up, I go home. And like for the first time in a while, I was like, I'm just going to start icing down. I think I need to just start doing things to kind of help with like pain, inflammation and stuff like that. And I'm sure maybe people are thinking over the microphone or whatever, right? Like, well, hopefully this guy's using like, pain relievers like, Advil or da-da-da, and I've mentioned that sometimes, but I'm a bit not wary of using Advil. I'm not any kind of conspiratorial thinking or anything, but for me, I just worry about having too much of a tolerance to it, because if I'm using it consistently, then I'm not going to get, the same kind of relief. That's my mental. Not saying that isn't kind of hard science or anything, but it's just one of those things where I like to save that for like when the pain is too much, or when I know I'm going to be doing really something active, or I'm going to be out and about with like friends or, Zoe or something like that. I really want to be as locked in as I can, as comfortable as I can be. So that's when I want to use it. And I don't want it to fail me. Like that's kind of my logic there. I know I'm kind of being very wordy and long-winded here, but yeah, so I came home, iced down, and then had a snack, which was good. Did I skip my stretch? Yes. So be it. But yeah, kind of just a bit of a slower evening, getting started. Had a few stories that I wanted to talk about. A bit of fluff, though. I'm calling it fluff, even though the fluff is the U.S.-Iran war. We're saying U.S. and forgetting that Israel is involved in this. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, let's not, dive all the way into the news. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and then let's get into it. All right. Oh, on a Tuesday. Oh. Do. All right. Our first story, I'm kind of just pulling this from like random little news outlets, kind of just freestyling it, if you will. But I want to just talk about this whole economic D-Day situation. So, U.S. Treasury Secretary or Secretary of the Treasury, whatever the fuck, I don't know how you word it, whatever. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, is essentially, he's been filling his oats, and we're in this gridlock, if you will, this fucking stalemate where we're not going to invade Iran. It seems we're not really able to just do this constant barrage with missiles and all that fucking shit. We really can't afford it. It's not working in that regard. So we are turning now to fiscal means to wreak some havoc and maybe get Iran to come back to the table, begging and pleading. But this to me just rings very hollow, because we're talking about an economic D-Day and an economic onslaught, all this fucking bullshit. But when they lay it out, it's just more sanctions. It's just sanctions on top of the sanctions on a country that we've been sanctioning for decades. So, like, we've already pushed them over the brink in that regard. What more are we really doing here? But they are saying that, hey, we're not just putting the pressure on Iran. We're going to put the pressure on any and all of their allies. So if you're doing any kind of business dealings with them, then we're gonna make this tough and rough for you. But they're not really going out of their way as of yet to like name those people. And I mean, motherfuckers in the know are saying, let's like, they're not naming China, they're not naming Russia. In fact, this is a really random ass aside, but some fucking U.S. plane landed in, I believe, Russia today. That's weird. That's a bit odd, but maybe I'll get some more details there in the future. But that being said, it's like, you're not, in terms of our allies, India's not getting mentioned, at least not that I've heard, or Pakistan. So it's like, these are all countries that are, at least in the orbit doing some kind of business. You're not fucking coming for them. And we all know why they're not coming for China. We already tried that tariff war shit earlier. It did not work. We fell flat on our face trying to have a trade war with China. Even though we're trying to have a trade war with fucking Canada, and that looks like it's going to be rough. But it's like this strategy with this, the sanctions on sanctions shit, the sanction cake, if you will, I don't see it working. I don't see it actually bringing Iran to the table in a way that, Daddy Donald Trump wants, so he can get this victory party that he's been fucking aching for. I just don't think it's going to happen this way. I also don't think that it's going to soothe or cool the markets in any way, shape, or form. I think gas is still going to stay up and go up and eventually get right back into around 4. I noticed that it kind of dipped a little bit, lower since we last mentioned it. I snuck in there and got some gas for $3.44. Not that that's a steal, but so yeah, to me, I really started this episode, or, was doing my research thinking, I didn't really want to fucking cover this shit. I really didn't want to talk about it. This feels like air because we've already been sanctioning Iran. It's not new, but it's making the rounds. We're talking about it, and maybe something will come of it. Maybe we actually will put our nuts on the table. Maybe old Scotty B is going to do that, and maybe he will name some names and dude, they literally use the words warning. These are warning shots. Like, brother, at this point, we are running parallel with WWE and the Trump administration with this warning shot bullshit. If you know, you know. Like, this is fucking dumb. It is such a clown show, dude. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'm sorry. Let's get down to the news I wanted to cover. From the Associated Press. Not that this is good news. This is terrible fucking news. More than 50 kidnapped as violent gang attack in Haiti leaves 47 dead. At least 47 people were killed and more than 50 others kidnapped when armed men attacked a once peaceful community near Haiti's capital earlier this week, the United Nations said Tuesday. It is believed to be one of the largest mass kidnappings in Haiti in recent years, and one gang leader is threatening to kill the hostages if authorities kill any gang members as they try to secure the community nestled in the hills above Port-au-Prince. Sunday's attack on Kinskoff pierced the belief that security in the troubled Caribbean country was improving. This is a major political and security test for the government, for the police, and for the international mission, said Roman Licour, head of the Haiti Observatory at the Global Initiative Against Transitional Organized Crime. He said the threat of executing hostages is a trap. If forces don't act, they fail to protect them. If they do, the hostages die, the gang will blame the state, or the gangs will blame the state. Let's see. They do go through more details. It gets a bit more gruesome. So we're gonna leave the story here, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Obviously, any kind of kidnapping, any kind of like mass killing situation like this is really, it's devastating. It's definitely, worth, highlighting. Anytime we are coming to Haiti, the situation is almost never fucking good. Someone is either dying or, we're talking about a national disaster of some kind. This shit is rough. Sometimes all of you fucking above. What do I want to mention here? I know that, we have talked about it and it's been, updated that, they are trying to do this whole, I don't know if it's like if you call it a global coalition, but essentially like a peacemaker corps group of some sort was supposed to be rallying and like doing some kind of policing. But it just seems like the numbers are never, ever going to be enough to like offset what is going on in Haiti, to give you that kind of law and order through this kind of, we're just going to put a police security force out there and keep spreading them out. And this is going to, really level the playing field. It just doesn't. It's just not enough manpower, to offset what's going on with these gangs. So, I mean, it seems in this situation that they are trying to make a push to take this area. And I imagine that's only going to make things worse for, obviously the civilians and the people. But yeah, I just heard about the story today. So if you hear any more updates, then we will definitely come back to Haiti. But I at least wanted to, talk about that a little bit. All right, now, you could say grimmer. I don't know. It's just bad on bad. Once again, from the Associated Press, I gotta get this thing out of the way. I got an extra weird pop-up. Sorry. From the Associated Press, a Montana man killed 8 relatives, including 4 kids, at Sunday dinner, family says. A man killed 8 of his relatives, including 4 children, as they gathered for Sunday dinner at a home in Billings, Montana, just weeks after his parents forced him to move out, a family member told the Associated Press. Brad Ireland, whose former wife and 2 children were among the dead, identified the shooter as 44-year-old Alan Smith. Smith's parents, who were also killed, had asked him to move out, but he returned on Sunday and opened fire, Ireland said. The victims represented 4 generations of the blended family, ranging from a great-grandmother in her 90s to a 7-year-old girl, according to Jennifer Mercer, a neighbor and family friend who set up an online fundraiser to help cover funeral costs and other expenses, and was authorized to release these details. Police said they responded to the home on Sunday evening and heard gunshots coming from out back, just before the house was completely engulfed in flames. Investigators confirmed Tuesday there were 8 victims, including 4 children, and that the suspect had suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound and later died. Brad Ireland said he had been briefed by investigators who told him Allen shot himself. Among those killed were Ireland's ex-wife, Megan Gierke, I'm sure I'm fucking that up, mea culpa, and their 2 children, Owen Ireland, 13, and Chloe Ireland, 7. Also killed were Gerke's 2 stepchildren with her current husband, Landon Gerke, 15, and Charlotte Gerke, 12. The one thing we do know, is that Charlotte was the hero, Mercer said. Charlotte called 911 and she tried to save her family, and that's something the family does want out there. This one was obviously rough. like the situation is just so fucked, you know, to be like, oh, like I can't imagine being so upset that you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna go family annihilate about it. Like, I don't know. This one's just hard to wrap your head around. Obviously, there's just no justification that you're gonna come to on this. Um, and it kind of is a loop that closes itself, if you will, but that doesn't really bring any kind of solace. You just have now this essentially empty home, this family with a giant hole in it that you don't get to just repair or mend. So this story just kind of, I just saw that and then in the ticker, and I'm like, I know the news week is kind of weird, and I don't like covering these kind of stories. They're very heavy, and but it's, so we try to make the rounds where we can on these kind of things. But yeah, let's get off of that. I'm gonna backpedal out of that one. Excuse me. Our next story is a bit lighter, but it's crime. It's unfortunate. It's this is from Local 10. Local 10. I think they're offering me platinum news. They're offering me Local 10 plus platinum app, dude. Hell yeah, you got to get it where you live, bro. Shit, shop local, buy local. Let's see. Thousands of dollars in cinnamon rolls stolen during courier ride. Small business owner says. A South Florida woman who makes a living selling cinnamon rolls is out quite a bit of money after an order went missing. Roll and Dough Bakery, run by 21-year-old Julie Pierre, has become a hit. She has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, and over the weekend she told them that someone stole $3,000 worth of her cinnamon rolls. The crime happened on Saturday morning, she said. Pierre said she sells the rolls at a farmer's market and used Uber courier service to deliver them to the market. Dude, a brief aside, I remember when I was doing DoorDash, there was like a couple of moments where you would get like big orders and stuff like that, and they were like such whales, and I would have like this dream, this weird side dream of mine where I was like, man, I would love to like do an order like super cool style. And they're so impressed with me. They go, hey man, you ever think about just like doing some orders straight up for us? And like that would be sick. Needless to say, Uber and DoorDash eventually would just corner the market on this shit. They would cut my fucking independent ass out of the fucking thing, and I would get cut down a hell of a lot of money to do the same kind of work. So it fucking goes. Anyway, let's see. Pierre says she sells the rolls at a farmer's market. I already said that. But the order she sent off never arrived at their intended destination. A lot of people are speculating that he's selling them on Facebook Marketplace, she said, of the assailant. Uber sent Local 10 News a statement regarding the incident, which read, this report is very troubling and not the experience we want the users to have. We're continuing to look into this so we can take appropriate action. Notice that they are not saying that they had reimbursed the person, Miss Pierre in this situation. That seems fucked up. Like at the end of the day, you guys should be on the fucking hook for it. But I'm sure legally, because once again, if I'm not mistaken, I know from me, my experience doing like Grubhub, DoorDash, that kind of thing, they hire you on as like an independent contractor. So technically the onus and stuff is on you. They technically, like if you wrong a customer in any kind of way, they are on the hook, but they are going to try to do their best to not be on the hook. And I feel like that's part of those reasons. They also hose you fiscally, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Uber added they are continuing to look into the report and remove the driver's access to the platform during the investigation. Once again, I don't see them paying up. Like, you have $3,000. Just give this lady her money. A police report was filed with the Sunrise Police Department. Additionally, a GoFundMe page was set up to help with the lost expenses. So obviously very fucking unfortunate. Maybe you're saying, or you're thinking to yourself, $3K, that's not that big a deal. You're going to be able to walk that off, whatever. It's fine. But like at the end of the day, you're a small business. Every dollar counts. You literally are using Uber at the farmer's market to make your shit move. Okay. Yeah. This isn't something that's just like a free action for you. It's not nothing. And plus it seems like she's doing a really good job at least from what I believe that the picture I have, the thumbnail is a picture of some of the rolls that she makes from her bakery. They look really yummy. I definitely would fuck on those, I'm sure. I know Zoe and I would love to go half on some rolls like that for sure. Um, but yeah, I will say, if you do go on the website, or I don't know, you have the app, there should be a link to her GoFundMe page. If you do want to support, by all means, completely, I get that. But yeah, man, it's a bummer. Oh, I guess I do have to rate this. This is technically a heist. It's technically a bit of a scammer. It's a robbery. Um, this is a D. Like, technically, I can't give it an F. The person has gotten away with it. We haven't, like, caught them, like, instantaneously. Though I will say, wait, like, let me pause button here. It's not a D. You can't even give this a D. It's like an F plus, because at the end of the day, you stole them, right? You're the driver. That is on record. They are going to like, they aren't going to catch you. I'm being very generous giving that a D. Like, no, you're cooked, bud. Now you can't even do your Uber shit. Like, this was just a bad play. It's a bad move. And what, you're gonna do a side hustle one time, one stop shop on these fucking, like, contraband cinnamon rolls, buddy? Like, that's just not the move. So yeah, we got to give this an F. You did get away with it. Maybe you had a couple on the house and you got to enjoy it. So in a way, I guess you do get some points for that, right? But obviously, boo this thief, boo this Uber driver. As a former, hopefully never future again returned delivery driver, that's not the way you move. That's not the way you operate, bro. That's bad. All right, shame on you. Anyway, let's move on. All right. This is sad news. We got to give flowers to the great Dolly Parton. All right, so yeah, let's do our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Ooh-wee. Also, apologies if you are hearing or have been hearing the dog in the background. That's unrelated. That's outside forces. So it goes. What can you do? All right. NBC News. Dolly Parton, country music icon, dies at 80. Dolly Parton, who rose from a loving, if impoverished, upbringing in the mountains of East Tennessee to become the queen of country music, a Hollywood star and a beloved American icon, has died. Her family announced Tuesday. She was 80. Parton's nephew, Brian Seaver, announced the news in a video posted on her Instagram. He did not provide details about her death. My name is Brian Seaver, son of Cassie Parton, and I'm representing the Parton and Owens family today, announcing the passing of my aunt, Dolly Rebecca Parton Dean, sister, sis, and granny to one generation and Gigi to the rest, Seaver said in a video. This video announcement is something Dolly asked of me years ago, before I fully absorbed it as a future reality. As her head of security for more than 2 decades, a role my father Larry held before me. I've imagined the heaviness of this moment, but haven't truly felt it till now, he added. Seaver added that Parton lived in the light and is in the arms of Jesus, surely met by her late husband Carl, her parents, and countless others. Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt, Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton, and may God bless you all. She will always love you, Seaver said at the end of the video statement. So yeah, they go through her history, dude. Even Donald Trump had the flags lowered at half mast. I was like, damn, even he respects a fucking G on that situation. But yeah, Dolly Parton is definitely one of the most interesting people I remember seeing on a TV, hearing on a radio. Like, now, granted, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I'm the biggest fucking fan of Dolly Parton. No, never been to Dollywood. That I will say, I would maybe wouldn't mind going. I heard they got some good eats there. But Jolene, that's a fucking banger. And anytime I was seeing Dolly Parton on a screen, talking, singing, whatever, she was lighting up the fucking room. Quick on her feet, funny, witty, man. So I'm definitely not the one to be giving all these, condolences or whatever, but I know surely, sorely she will be missed. Definitely one of the greatest to ever fucking do it. I mean, shit, and I guess to kind of be personal, anecdotal, I would definitely say like someone like Johnny Cash, someone like Dolly Parton, out of Willie Nelson or some shit in there, were artists that definitely like showed me that like, oh, I can have one notion about country music, but there are a slew of artists that are showing me that like country music is definitely more than tractors and whiskey and I don't know, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? There's storytelling here. There's soul to some of this shit, man. It's really fucking good. So that really opened my eyes to it. Dolly Parton was definitely one of the motherfuckers to do it. And so yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents on that. Rest in peace, rest in motherfucking power, Dolly. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have. I'd say this episode's gone to the goddamn dogs. But yeah, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Roll call is coming up soon, and it's the birthday roll call. Is that special? Is that different, you ask? No, it's not. It's the same. I just, do a little rundown of all the newsies, all my loyal newsies, wonderful, beautiful, awesome newsies. We do the shout out. There's some extra stuff, sure, old archive, blah blah, yada yada yada, but it's essentially a tip jar. And I do plug a project. Once again, I'm saying your name once a month. That's cool. If you're interested in that kind of thing, and plus, you have the joy of knowing you put a beautiful, wonderful smile on my face. And you lit up my heart and my life. So, I mean, there you go. There's that. But no, free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you'd like to listen. Let's see. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. Let's see. What else is there on my mind? She's spacing. 5 stars, sure. All the stars on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts are appreciated. If you would you kindly? But if you don't, that's okay. That's a-okay with me. I really just appreciate having the few handful of people who tune in on a regular, semi-regular, basis. That's pretty sick. You're rad. You're awesome. And if you are in the low percentile, but the best percentile, tip of the spear, if you will, of listener who makes it all the way to the end of these episodes. Because every once in a while I check, I see, I'm like, damn, it's not 0. Okay. Thank you. It really does mean a lot. You're really awesome. You're really wonderful. Couldn't do it without you. And if I could, it would be pretty lame. So yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.